First match in a three-match homestand for Atlanta United 2 saw Jackson Conway get his 8th goal of the season in a close loss to the Pittsburgh Riverhounds. FC Tulsa comes to town chasing a playoff spot in the East. Let's find out what happens together. It's the USL Championship on ESPN Plus next. First match in a three-match homestand for Atlanta United 2 saw Jackson Conway get his 8th goal of the season in a close loss to the Pittsburgh Riverhounds. FC Tulsa comes to town chasing a playoff spot in the East. Let's find out what happens together. It's the USL Championship on ESPN Plus next. Time for some weekend action at the Fraction for the last time in 2022. It's the USL Championship on ESPN Plus. FC Tulsa chasing after that last playoff spot in the East comes to town with a record of 10-13-4. Atlanta United 2 chasing after their 5th win on the season. Alongside JRRETT Smith, I am John Nelson. Thanks for hanging out with us however you are doing so tonight. And Jarrett, match 2 against an opponent that is chasing after something.
It's a Tulsa team that has really come on strong in the second half of the season. They have won 4 of their last 6 matches. They've earned more than a third of their season's point total in the last 5.5 weeks. And now they come to the Fraction looking for a little bit of action, trying to make it into the playoffs.
Let's go to the players in the spot shadow. And for the visitors, someone who's gone for a month. He's back, and boy, is he needed.
Gabby Torres is going to wear a path down the left side of that field. He leads the team with 4 assists, picked up an assist in their victory against Loudon last time out, and he will be needed again to keep the offense moving.
For the home side, let's focus on the man that now wears the C, Johnny Fortune.
Well, it kind of felt like a passing of the torch, didn't it, last time out in a tough 2-1 loss to Pittsburgh. Johnny Fortune picked up his first professional assist in a game against the former captain, Robbie Mertz. And Fortune has really had to grow up with that armband, and he's going to have to continue to provide for this offense.
That's your look at the early preview with FC Tulsa and Atlanta United 2. When we come back, it's first 45 starting 11s. And all the action coming up here from Kennesaw. Atlanta United 2 and FC Tulsa. It's the USL Championship on ESPN Plus. Stick and stay. We'll be right back.
BB&T and SunTrust are now Truest, together for better.
Los accidentes suceden sin avisar y conseguir el tratamiento médico que usted o un familiar merece puede resultar difícil si no cuenta con la ayuda de un buen abogado. Por eso nos dedicamos a pelear por sus derechos, asegurándonos que usted no solo reciba la compensación que merece, sino que también reciba la mejor atención médica. Le atendemos en español. 404-888-8888. Bader Law Firm, comprometidos con usted y su familia.
You wouldn't put your team on the same field as the pros. So why would you take them to the same doctor? From growth plates to emotional needs, teens are different than adult athletes. Take them where they're treated that way.
Piedmont believes in the people powering Georgia. It's why we're leading real change in healthcare, to give you a better, seamless, more unified experience, so you can simply access and manage your care all in one place, with tools that make it easy to find and book a doctor from almost anywhere, anytime, and even check in before you walk in. Let's keep powering Georgia's growth. Piedmont, real change lives here.
BB&T and SunTrust are now Truest, together for better.
Welcome back to Kennesaw, getting you ready for the first 45 with FC Tulsa chasing after that last playoff spot in the East and Atlanta United 2. Let's take a look at the starting lineups on both of these sides. And for FC Tulsa, it'll be an interesting look, obviously, with Gabby Torres back in the lineup. And when we get into the starting lineup for Atlanta United 2, Jared, it'll be interesting for them as well for a different reason. But here's what we see with interim coach Donovan Ricketts. Lineups presented by our friends at Bader Scott Injury Lawyers.
Yeah, Torres on that left back role is going to get forward. He's going to provide. The back line looks the same as it did last time. Bird slots into that midfield. He rotates in for this run. And then the guys up front you got to worry about. It's Ramirez, it's Suarez, Maloto's up there as well, Epps involved. And Wormel has been absolutely fantastic this season for them between the sticks.
Save percentage of 79.2. Rodrigo is on the bench today, the leading scorer for FC Tulsa. Now to the flip side, and Atlanta United 2, some experience at the back for the Five Stripes today.
This is one of the things you can bring guys down for is Alex DeJohn, who, look, he's brought in to be a veteran leader, and he does that. Now you partner him back there with Mikey Ambrose. It's a lot of veteran leadership, a lot of ability to kind of calm the stormy seas. Heimar's back there who can be very disruptive. Bryce Washington, who is improving as the season goes on, can play that right back, get forward in a wing back role if he has to as well. As you mentioned before, we talked about it. Johnny Fortune's up there, Nicholas Firmino, and then up top you have Jackson Conway and Tristan Traeger.
Man in the middle, Alejo Kaluma. Your ARs, Noah Kenyawani and Ben Regal. And your fourth official is Alexander Zhelyashkov. Underway from 5th, 3rd, Atlanta United 2 in their customary black outfits with the Five Stripes, north and south. They're going to be going from right to left as you're watching here in the first 45. And for FC Tulsa, they are in their road whites with the electric gold numbers and letters. So that should be a bit of an interesting test for us up here in the S suite today. And they are going in the first 45 from your left to your right. Once again, thanks for accessing us however you are doing so here on ESPN+. Busy, busy night. Traditionally, they are in USL Championship. So we'll keep you posted on all of the scores and all of the machinations as it comes to the playoffs here as everyone's chasing in the East and the West. Well done there by Bryce Washington with Gabby Torres coming up the left, and it's going to be a goal kick for the Twos.
It's what Bryce Washington does so well in those moments. There's a lot of stuff that Bryce Washington has had to learn on the job, and the iron has had to be sharpened in the moment for him, but strength off the ball and being able to fight guys off physically is one of those things he's been great at.
Early turnover, forcing it to FC Tulsa's possession through Dario. Dario tried to get a foul call, Alejo Kaluma having none of it, so it goes back to Atlanta United 2.
And good job again by Bryce Washington. Doesn't make a fatal mistake there when he gets called back into action immediately because of that turnover.
Alex DeJohn pressured off of his left shoulder, give it to Bryce Washington, and Bryce will go all the way back to Vicente Reyes. Two-man pressure by FC Tulsa. You see Machuca as a part of that. Sent long. FC Tulsa gets underneath it. And the header by Dario as he's looking for Machuca. Alex DeJohn is under control. He'll send it back to the keeper, and they'll try it again down the left-hand side.
And if you haven't seen Tulsa before, just be aware Machuca and Marlon Ramirez have never been seen in the same place at the same time. They are one and the same. You may hear it referred either way at any given moment, especially if things get crazy. Same person.
Eric Bird up the left to Gabby Torres. Torres looking for Dario. The back and forth is there. Dario finally gets past Bryce Washington, looking to spring down the left-hand side. Gabby Torres too far, and it's going to be a throw for the Twos here halfway through the 3rd minute.
Like we said, it's going to be a situation where Torres is going to wear a path on the left side of that field out. They might have to put new turf down here before Kennesaw State plays their first football game with the way he's going to run.
I was going to say, that's going to have to be a quick turn if they're going to do that. Kennesaw State with their first football game in the books this couple days ago. Going long, looking for Traeger and Conway. Jackson Conway, well done there to post up, get possession, early chance. Rockets saved by Wormel.
Jackson had options. He decided to go with the palm stinger. And Wormel, we mentioned Wormel with a great save percentage. He was up for the task early. Great long ball over the top to free Conway up. Now Atlanta's got to get reorganized.
Chewich. Once again, as they look forward, looking for Marcus Epps. Pass was too hard. Dario now for SC Tulsa. Chewich around Tony Tiente. through ball too much on it. Goal kick. How about your keys here in the first 45 as we get things going here in Kennesaw?
Oh, well, for Tulsa, it's a matter of getting ahead. They are 6-1-0 when they lead at halftime. So if this first 45 minutes goes in their favor, they're going to feel really good about this one and keep Torres hot. Leads the team in assists. He's back in after injury. Picked up an assist last time out. Keep him going, and they'll be able to create for Atlanta United 2. Make it a double. All 4 wins this season, they've scored 2 or more goals. So get a couple goals, and you feel like you're in a good spot. You got to score to win anyway. And for dealing with Tulsa, it's Bottle Suarez and Machuca. 5 of the last 6 goals that long shot goes wide. 5 of the last 6 goals that Tulsa has scored this season have come from those 2 guys.
And Dario with that shot there with the left that was wide. So it'll be another goal kick for Atlanta United 2 here early on. And at the break, obviously, we'll go through all of the permutations and go through the standings and see what everybody else is chasing in the East right now. Atlanta United 2 for their final matches. Come back here in the midweek against Memphis 901. Then they go to Boca to take on the Miami FC. The last home match is Indy 11. Then they have 2 matches against LA Galaxy 2 and Phoenix Rising. And you can be a spoiler basically in both conferences here with their final handful of games. Tristan Traeger looking forward, chipped, and it's defended well by FC Tulsa inside the 18. Gabby Torres once again tries to keep possession. Well done there to keep it away from Eric Centeno.
That's a great job with Centeno trying to hit that counter press really quickly, trying to force that turnover while Atlanta had bodies going forward. But now you have to get back and get reorganized again.
Dario with the great ball, and he was looking for Machuca. Muscled off by Mikey Ambrose there. Well done in defense, having to backtrack quickly for the twos.
You have those veteran guys back there this evening. You still have Noah Cobb. You still have Nelson Orji in the back pocket if you need him. But being able to call on a Mikey Ambrose and Alex DeJohn in this situation to give you some stability in the back line is a big help.
Ambrose, along with the left, too much for Traeger. Headed away by Dispay. Dario yields to Gabby Torres. He'll go all the way over. Once again to Dispay. Conway was chasing briefly. Cian McFarland trying to work it up the right-hand side to Marcus Epps. Both teams jockeying for the throw. Looks like Marcus Epps gets it for FC Tulsa. Introduced once again back to Dispay, and they'll try it again.
And we've seen this with Tulsa in the way that they've played at times. At times, Epps will have his heels. He will basically be able to shake hands with Jack Collison over there on the sideline.
Bradley Bourgeois working his way up the left. I'm going to say Bourgeois touched it last, so it'll be a throw for Atlanta United 2.
But that kind of spreads the field out. We know what kind of attacking talent that Tulsa has on the left-hand side. If they're able to hit that big switch, might be able to open things up on the weak side.
Fortune, Centeno, and back to Bryce Washington. Into the middle, and Alex DeJohn. Alex DeJohn with his second appearance this season for the Twos. Played the full 90 in his last appearance with the Twos earlier this year. Important to get him some reps so he can stay match fit, getting the activity with the first team. Gabby Torres couldn't quite get in possession. Here comes Atlanta United 2. Traeger sends it back to Fortune. Centrally, Firmino. Finding an outlet in Mikey Ambrose down the left. Ambrose with the chip into the corner. Highmar is there, but he can't quite bring it in centrally. And it's going to be a goal kick for FC Tulsa.
He's waiting for that ball to drop just right, trying to hit it, and just got it a second late there. It goes out for a goal kick, but a good job of finding that ball over the top by Mikey Ambrose. We've seen Nelson Orji in that role, being that left-sided center back that gets forward. You know, we've seen it in the last few games of the first team, with Andrew Gutman being that left-sided center back who gets forward, creates those overloads, finds the opportunities. You just got to be defensively sound getting back.
Ambrose and Tiente try to gain possession for Atlanta United 2, but here comes FC Tulsa again. Dario looking for Machuca. Alex DeJohn is there quickly to close that down. Gabby Torres centrally to Lebo Moloto. Moloto into the middle, wind and fire right on. Easy grab there for Vicente Reyes. He had it tracked the whole time as Eric Bird wound and fired.
Good little bit of early action for Reyes, and that's kind of one you want. You know, whether or not you want your goalkeeper getting a lot of early action, it's an easy early save where he can get comfortable.
Centeno gets it away from Gabby Torres. Over to Mikey Ambrose down the left-hand side. Mikey with some room. Good flick over to the left-hand side and Highmar. Tiente, Firmino, Ambrose. Very, very quick one-touch passing for Atlanta United 2. Ambrose. And it's going to be a foul on Marcus Epps. Here's a look at Mikey Ambrose. New father Mikey Ambrose. Centeno. Thought about the step over to try to get it inside the 18. Pulled it back to a Johnny Fortune. Looking for the through ball and just touched by Gabby Torres to interrupt the path. Tristan Traeger hands on head for that one. That close for Atlanta United 2.
That's great work from Torres to get a foot in there to keep that away. Good awareness, though, to read it because it's a good idea. It's a good ball, and yet Tristan Traeger's in on goal if that goes through.
Moloto gains control. Tony Tiente closes it down. Back to Eric Bird. Bird the big switch to Gabby Torres. Torres with some room. Centeno stood him up. Pass picked off by Bryce Washington. Here comes Atlanta United 2 again.
Now Washington get forward in the box. That's another big body in there if you can get it in.
Firmino. Traeger. Scoop. Back to Firmino. Toward the top of the 6th. Knocked out of the 18 by FC Tulsa. Regained by a Johnny Fortune looking far post. And knocked away by Cian McFarland. Looked like it was over the end line, but it was kept in by Warmel, but kept by Atlanta United 2 in the process.
It's a good ball from Fortune and a great job by McFarland.
Right on to Warmel.
McFarland had to go full extension. That hamstring had to bark a little bit when he did it.
And they're going to get a foul there on Machuca as he was jostling with Alex DeJohn. There's a look at Jack Collison, head coach for Atlanta United 2. Highmar tried to send it toward the elbow on the near side of the 18, but it hit an FC Tulsa player. Foul on Tony Tiente.
Tiente standing over it a little bit. Don't let him take it fast. Make everybody get a chance to reset. It's the little things in life like that, like getting a throw in quickly, the ball boy taking a half second longer for a Tulsa throw in, or standing over a free kick so they can't go quickly.
Well done by Alex DeJohn. Launched it to Tristan Traeger. Traeger centrally to Firmino. Has Jackson Conway in front of him. Lays it off to his right to Johnny Fortune. Looking far post, headed up into the air by Traeger. And the offside flag is up.
I like that from a Johnny Fortune, though. It's the second time we've seen him try and hit that ball in and trying to be aggressive getting it in. That one just a touch offside, but it's not a bad idea. It's not a bad ball. Not a lot Traeger can do with it at that point because of where the ball is, where he doesn't really have much of his body behind it to head it, so all he can try and do is put it back in a dangerous area. But I like the aggressiveness we're seeing from a Johnny Fortune. We need to see more of it.
There's a good look at Austin Warmel, the local product for FC Tulsa. Mentioned how he is and how electric he is between the sticks for FC Tulsa. His save percentage a full 4 percentage points higher than the guy who's next in the standings. Warmel at 79-2, and the next one's 75 and change. Averaging 4 saves, a little north of 4 saves a night. And he has kept FC Tulsa in this charge as they're chasing after that last playoff spot in the Eastern Conference.
They're going to need every point they can get for that tonight. That's going to mean they're going to need to weather what Atlanta can throw at them. He's going to have to make some saves before the end of the night, but then you got to carry it on to the next game. And you know what? You just get in the dance, and you never know what can happen, especially if you go into the dance with a hot goalkeeper.
And we'll look at the margins coming into tonight at halftime as our tour around the USL Championship picks up there. Marcus Epps over the right-hand side, and McFarland into Lebo Moloto. Quick touching over to Chuich. Gabby Torres sweeps it in toward the top of the 6th. DeJohn is there. He'll pop it into the air. And it's going to be a corner for FC Tulsa.
First test of the night for Atlanta United 2 on these set pieces. First test for Tulsa to see how they want to attack it. As we've chronicled before, Atlanta has a lot of size. A lot of strength in the box, both offensively and defensively with set pieces. We'll see how Tulsa approaches this.
Looks like McFarland will take. McFarland with 2 assists on the season so far. A lot of folks crowding inside the 6. This will be an in-swinger with the right whistle from Kaluma first and foremost. And he wants to have a discussion with some folks.
The water bottle's too close.
Yep. Well, you know, you want to have it, make sure that you don't have that 12th defender, right?
You don't want to slip on and hit the post.
True, that too. So let's see what McFarland has in mind here early in the 15th minute. Sent toward the top of the 6th. Up and over, looked like it was touched by DeJohn, and it's going to be yet another corner for FC Tulsa.
I'm not sure who got a touch on that. Somebody did for Atlanta United too. Reyes came out for the punch as well, and now you just flip your angle.
So it looks like Moloto will take for FC Tulsa here. It's going to be an outswinger with his right. Kaluma wanting the guys to have a little bit of space. There's massive humanity right at the beginning of the 6th, sent in, and that's where it's headed. Through traffic, couple of bodies touch it, goes through traffic again, popped up into the air. Ambrose was there trying to get second ball. Machuca tries to go with the bicycle. He makes contact with Tiente. Foul called, Tiente down.
Yeah, Tiente caught a boot to the head, I think. We have to take another look at it for sure. Tiente going up for the header. No malicious intent, trying to go for the spectacular overhead. Just want to make sure Tiente's okay if that caught him flush. Let's take a look.
Good keep, second ball, and there it is.
That's a great bit of juggling and to go for the brilliance.
And it looks like they gave a yellow to Machuca. Dangerous play. So Machuca gets a yellow card here late in the 16th, early in the 17th minute.
I mean, if you got to pick somebody to get your yellow card, a striker's okay. You're hoping he's not going to be in those situations where he can get another one. Let's take another look at it right here. Great touch. Great touch.
And then bang, right there.
And then bang. Bang's a good word for it.
I've learned onomatopoeia at a very early age. Didn't learn how to spell it, learned how to use it.
It's a tough situation for Atlanta United, too, there with the way that ball was bouncing around. Could have gotten really risky really quickly, but you got out of trouble. So now let's see what they can build on with it. And those set pieces like that can be such a risky thing to deal with because you get all of those bodies right there around the middle of the box. All it has to do is fall to the right person, and it's just, as you said, it's a mess of humanity on those corners where they basically, it looks like a basketball stack right at the 6-yard box.
Bryce Washington now after the throw. Alex DeJohn in the middle with the left, sends it over to Mikey Ambrose on the left-hand side. Mikey's got about 15 yards of space before Marcus Epps was there to defend. Tristan Traeger now. Close quarters with Highmar. Tiente working with Firmino. Firmino thought about a charge. Well defended. Stood up by FC Tulsa, but Mikey Ambrose is there to regain possession for the Twos. Firmino was looking for a target behind, probably hoping that Johnny Fortune was there. It ended up being back with FC Tulsa now. Alex DeJohn defending. Machuca cuts it inside. Top of the 18, wants to set up the left. Dario deflected and saved. And Mikey Ambrose gets it outside of the 18.
Oh, it's a great ball down to Machuca, and then it's a matter of Alex DeJohn's just trying to be in a patient situation with him. No sense in getting too aggressive. Oh, hey, pulling it back. They tried to take a very quick free kick. Looks like it's going to come back. Yeah.
Yeah, Kaluma wanted to have a discussion with Petr Cilic, so let's take a peek at the save. Right there.
That's a tough one, too, because it's hard to see coming through that forest of legs sometimes. Vicente Reyes keeps his legs together enough to put his knee down there, get a save to it. It's a great ball over the top. Alex DeJohn tries to make him go back towards the middle, he's able to do so. But Machuca's pace is able to create that problem, gets everybody out of shape a bit, and you get a good shot on goal for Tulsa. It's what they needed.
Looks like Kaluma wanted Tony Tiente to back up a little bit. There's a look at Donovan Ricketts, the interim head coach at FC Tulsa. Some news this week from the franchise about who is going to succeed Ricketts starting in 2023. We'll get into that at halftime as well. Centeno on the right. Past Dario. Trying to lead Jackson Conway. Conway wanted to charge. Defended well by Gabby Torres. Tiente leaves for Fortune. Centeno. Dario closed for the double team. Gave to Bryce Washington. And he will return it all the way back to Alex DeJohn. The Atlanta United 2 side of center circle. Tiente back to Bryce. Up and over. Can Centeno track it down? He can. Sends it toward the top of the 6th, but defended by FC Tulsa, and it's going to be a corner. Almost was a deep throw, but they're going to say it's a corner for Atlanta United 2 here late in the 20th minute.
Man, what a great ball from Bryce Washington. Just flips it over the top. It's that helpless feeling as a defender when you're thinking, I'm going to jump it. Nope, that's just a little too high. I'm just going to have to turn and run. Centeno is able to get in and put a dangerous ball in the box, but Tulsa's defense stands up, clears it out of there, and now Atlanta with a set piece.
So Highmar will take for Atlanta United 2. Tristan Traeger is there as close comfort. In swinger with the left. Traeger releases in toward the top of the 6th and just missed the header by Alex DeJohn as he leapt. And it's going to be FC Tulsa's possession.
It's a dangerous set piece for Atlanta. Alex DeJohn didn't miss that by much. It's a far out header, so it would have been an interesting shot on goal to see how Wormel would have handled it. But he didn't miss making contact with it by much. But now you have a deep throw, and Atlanta can trigger a bit of pressure here and try and make Tulsa play out of it.
Pin them into this corner. Epps, recipient of the throw. Swept forward with the left. Machuca gave it centrally. And here comes FC Tulsa. Dario, center circle. Has Moloto to his left. That's where he goes. Gabby Torres started a sprint, pulled it back. Now gets it from Moloto. And the give to Eric Bird. Jackson Conway just missed getting in between that connection. Forward by Bradley Bourgeois. Trying to turn out of trouble is McFarland.
Highmar doing a good job of hounding him.
Pass by Bird, picked off. Quick work, Jackson Conway sprinting. Eric Centeno is there. He has to regroup it. Didn't put enough on it to to Tony Tiente, and here comes Machuca for FC Tulsa. He'll leave for Dario. Space is there for Marcus Epps. Back to Dario in the middle. Thought about winding up with the right from about 28. Pulled it over to Eric Bird instead. Bird will wind and up and over everything. It'll be a goal kick. How about a promo read?
Well, for one thing, you'll settle for that all night if you're Atlanta United 2, a shot outside the box. Celebrating its 75th anniversary, Select is proud to be the official match ball supplier of the USL Championship. Choose what you play with at www.selectsportamerica.com. Select, League's choice, player's choice.
What he said. So in 3 seconds, I will ask you a question. Now that we've hit the quarter pole here, what do you think of the first 22 and a half minutes?
I think it's a matter of teams still trying to figure each other out a bit. Atlanta's had success with that long ball going over the top in those transition moments when Tulsa gets forward. And they are going to get forward, especially on that left-hand side. They're going to leave space behind that back line or behind the midfield in between that kind of corner there where a guy like Eric Centeno can get in there and be dangerous. But we've also seen Machuca be a guy who can get forward. So who's going to take advantage of those opportunities when there are mistakes, and who's going to be able to build in the moments? Is Atlanta going to be able to build something consistently when they do get those spells of possession? And how is Tulsa going to do when Atlanta surrenders those opportunities? And how are they able to build it up? Are they able to get more than just a shot from 22 yards?
Down the right-hand side, Epps and Bourgeois. Bourgeois stood up by Mikey Ambrose, trying to get around him. Stood up twice by the Texan. Well done there. Highmar to Tony Tiente out of a jam, Atlanta United 2. Bird tried to close on Tiente, back to Alex DeJohn. Spots Centeno on the big switch. Calms it down, but Gabby Torres was there trying to gain possession for FC Tulsa. Goes back to Atlanta United 2, top of their own arc, and Alex DeJohn again. Ambrose to Tiente. Highmar tries to get around Epps. He can't. Epps into the middle to Dario and back to Gabby Torres. Dario on the return. Looks like he wants to set something up with the right. Got a little bit more space. Closed down well that time by Centeno.
Johnny Fortune trying to direct traffic out there, telling Centeno to step to him.
Moloto. Epps. Eric Bird into the middle. Dario. Too much for the first touch for Gabby Torres. He'll track it down, give it back to Dario, and they'll try it again. Torres sweeps it in toward the top of the sixth, headed up in the air by Mikey Ambrose, and Reyes will grab for Atlanta United 2.
And see, that's something right there as Reyes goes long. Is Machuca, now that he's on a yellow, he's got to be at least a little more careful about going up for those risky ones when you know the goalkeeper's coming out, because if he gets it wrong, he's already on a yellow.
Traeger and Firmino teaming up briefly on the left-hand side. Highmar, give. Well defended initially, but kept by Atlanta United 2, but Chuich was in the way, and here comes FC Tulsa.
Great job of scramble defending by Tulsa. We've said that about Atlanta some this year. That's a great job, and a great ball right down the middle.
Moloto couldn't quite handle it, wants to set up the right, and Reyes is there.
Atlanta got stretched, center backs got stretched, and you're able to make that run right where you split the center backs just like that.
Fortune gets past Bird. The game is stretched. That is the word right now. Eric Centeno halfway through the 26th minute.
Traeger wanted that kind of that spinning ball back into the middle.
Fortune wanted to send it in toward the top of the sixth. Headed away by Gabby Torres. It'll be a corner once again for Atlanta United 2.
And we've seen that a couple times now where Traeger and Conway both, if we take a look at that ball, splits the center backs. Good job by Atlanta United 2 getting back on defense, and then Reyes makes the sure save. We've seen that a couple times where guys like Traeger and Conway in the middle are wanting that early cross in, and it hasn't been there yet. They tried to get it down to the end line to get that cross in. We've seen Johnny Fortune put a couple of those in, and they were dangerous, but they were dealt with. But it looks like that's what Tristan Traeger wanted there. He's trying to run it off that back shoulder. He's been very active, not just playing like as the lighthouse, center forward. He's been all over the place.
In-swinger looking back post, headed away by Epps. But tracking it down will be Eric Centeno. Centeno looking back post. DeJohn pushed in the back, and all the clattering gets it directly to Warmel. Warmel with the baseball pass with the right, and Epps has a lot of room to run.
And now you got to get reorganized, and it's a great switch right here.
Machuca will get underneath it just outside the 18. Mikey Ambrose is there for Atlanta United 2. Machuca to Dario. Dario winds up, and it goes up and over everything. It'll be a goal kick for Atlanta United 2 as we get into the 28th minute.
And another one of those where you're happy with it if you're Atlanta United 2, because you got that big switch hit on you. You're trying to get back, get organized, and Dario's trying to hit it from 23 yards away, curling it. There's not a lot of visual impairment for Vicente Reyes, so he's able to see it off the foot, see it spinning, seeing it go high.
Goalless here. Atlanta United 2 and FC Tulsa. Here in Fifth Third Bank Stadium in Kennesaw once again, alongside Jarrett Smith, I'm John Nelson. Thanks for accessing us however you are doing so here on ESPN+. Handful of games left in the regular season for teams here in USL Championship in 2022. One team here in the role of spoiler, one team chasing a playoff spot. That's going to be the task for Atlanta United 2 for the remainder of the season, spoiling the thoughts of others as they would like to head for a postseason. Alex DeJohn past Gabby Torres to Firmino. Firmino on the sprint, looks to his left, looks to his right, yields to Centeno. Can he track it down? He can. Goes far post with it up and over, but Epps is there to get it first. Tiente winds, blocked outside the 18 once again. Highmar wants to get around Epps. Epps gets inside position, gains possession. He'll go back to Warmel, but Warmel has to get rid of it with the right. Alex DeJohn is there with the header. Tony Tiente, once again, game is a hectic pace and a foul on Lebo Moloto.
It's tough to play at this pace continuously and not kind of get yourself tripped up a bit.
Ambrose was looking for Tristan Traeger. Too much on it. Goal kick for FC Tulsa.
Atlanta had a great opportunity that last run down, and the ball out to Centeno's just a little bit to the wrong side of him, where Centeno's looking for it in stride where he can get on his right foot, but that ball gets a little bit to his outside shoulder. He has to work his entire run out and around like he's taking the high curve on a turn, and then by then it's tough to get his body squared up to it because it's coming to the inline. He just has to one-time it.
Austin Warmel just wishing everybody forward. Warmel sends it forward with the right. Up into the air, won by Atlanta United 2. Second ball, won by Dispay. McFarland sweeps it forward with the right. DeJohn is there. Epps chests it down. Gets away from the double team, back to the back line, and Dispay.
Atlanta did a good job winning the first ball on those, but the second ball falling to Tulsa where they're able to control it a little bit.
Dario. Machuca sprinting off to his left. Dario comes centrally, and he'll give to Moloto. Moloto to Epps. McFarland sweeps in with the right up and over everybody, and it'll be a throw for Atlanta United 2 deep in their own defensive third. .31st minute here in Kennesaw. Centeno will leave the responsibility of the throw to Bryce Washington now. There's the 17s here tonight. Foul on Gabby Torres as Jackson Conway wanted to gain possession, started too quickly.
Gabby Torres, one of many who has fouled Jackson Conway trying to get around him.
Not wrong.
Need a passport to get around him.
And to check longitude and latitude at the same time, yeah?
You're adjusting for time change.
Bryce Washington will restart, give to Alex DeJohn. Centrally to Tony Tiente. He's got Mikey Ambrose to his left. That's where he goes. Into the middle and Traeger. Returned. Tiente had the big switch to Bryce Washington, went the next step to Alex DeJohn. DeJohn goes to Bryce now. Dario closing.
And it's when Atlanta makes these switches like this, where if you can get it out, boom, it's out there to Ambrose. If you can get something going forward, there it is.
There it is as Ambrose is looking for Highmar. Defended by Dispay.
Good job, ball kid. Get the ball in quick.
Firmino. Thought about sending it inside the 18. Highmar will with the left now. Conway was at the far post, the edge of the 6. Headed out by the defensive FC Tulsa. Centeno will pick it up. Step over, works his way to the right, gets around Dario. Chips it in far post. Headed in just over the bar and crashing into the post. Crashing into the post was Firmino. You got to hope that he is okay. Physio's out in a hurry to check on Nicholas Firmino. Here's another look. Nowhere to go.
Well, he just catches that post. Well, he just sells out completely for it. Just gets under the header a little bit and then just square right in the midsection on that post where he's going full speed into it, going for the glory, and just a really painful hit to have to deal with.
Bryce Washington having a conversation with Tony Tiente. Good to see Firmino sitting up. Jack Collison applauding the effort there.
He's got to come off at least for a second here. At the very least, hopefully just knock the wind out of him for a second.
Let's look at one of the veterans at the back tonight, Mikey Ambrose alongside Alex DeJohn. Helping shore things up at the back tonight against an experienced FC Tulsa side. Firmino being walked around in front of the benches you see down there, low part of your screen.
You saw the opportunity created from Atlanta where they were able to make that switch quickly. Tulsa had gotten loaded up on their defending left side, Atlanta's attacking right side. And Atlanta was able to switch the ball quickly to Ambrose. They were able to hit the long ball over top. You get the one cross where Jackson Conway had ghosted his man and was on the back post. It gets cleared out a little bit long, but you got the other opportunity out of it.
Dario into the middle. Firmino back in. You see him rushing in to help defend. Eric Bird to Gabby Torres on the left. Bird thought about going back to Dizpay. Chuich didn't get a whole lot on it. Bryce Washington charges. Johnny Fortune gets it. Bounced off of Dario. Kept possession. Now into the middle, Nicholas Firmino.
Good to see him running back full speed.
He's got help on the left. Chuich was defending on the right to shut that down. Sent in, but right at Wormel.
Firmino just mishits that cross. He's got Traeger and he's got Conway there. He's got two choices, and it almost looks like he split the difference and put it right at Wormel.
McFarland looking for Moloto. Tiente is there for Atlanta United 2. Epps over the top, but it ends up right in the hands of Vicente Reyes.
Reyes hasn't diversified his heat map nearly as much as I expected him to tonight, but he is a little bit involved in passing.
Good vision to Tiente. Too much there, looking for Highmar, so it'll be a throw for FC Tulsa close to center line here early in the 36th minute.
Got to say, it's been interesting seeing Tiente play that 6 role. He played so much center back when he got here because it's what the team needed. It's interesting to see him out there in the midfield protecting that back line instead.
Epps looking for Machuca at the back post, headed away and cleared by Centeno. It'll be a throw for FC Tulsa here in the attacking half.
Great job by Washington. He gets ahead to that. He clears it out, but he doesn't clear it back into the middle of the box. He's getting it away from goal and off to the side. So if it does fall to somebody, it's a more difficult opportunity.
Gabby Torres stood up by Centeno and a Johnny Fortune. Fortune thought there was a foul. Didn't happen. Play continues with FC Tulsa. Epps. Edge of the 18 wants to set it up with the left. Centrally to Bird. Over to Gabby Torres. Gabby tries to get around Bryce Washington. Back post. Up, over, and through. But not out. It's going to stick with Atlanta United 2.
What a dangerous ball that just floats over, just tantalizing everybody in the box.
Looking for Traeger, headed away. Backtracking is Gabby Torres. Centeno in pursuit. Bird on the turn, gets away from a Johnny Fortune. McFarland was looking for Epps, and it ends up with Mikey Ambrose. Alex DeJohn to Bryce Washington here on the right-hand side. Johnny Fortune, Bird marking him really tightly. Back to Alex DeJohn, back to Reyes once again. Ambrose with the return pass. DeJohn, eyes up, center circle, looking for Jackson Conway. Wanted to get Centeno on the move, but Gabby Torres was there for FC Tulsa. Back to Wormel. Wormel will just send it into...
That's a get-out-of-trouble ball.
That's the end of the first row, so it'll be a throw for Atlanta United 2.
The reigning title holders visit in-state rivals as the USL on ESPN2 continues. Orange County SC look for a late-season surge against Sacramento Republic FC Sunday, September 18th at 5 p.m. Eastern on ESPN2.
What he said. Action in the West is just as crazy as it is in the East. There are groupings and folks that are chasing after bids, especially toward the bottom of the playoff picture in the West. We'll look at the standings once again coming up at halftime in both the East and the West to kind of set you up for the stretch run here. Firmino has Traeger, finds Traeger. Traeger up and over traffic. Highmar back post volleyed by Jackson Conway, up and over everything. Goal kick.
Well, Jackson Conway's eyes got as big as dinner plates on that one. That twisting ball coming to him, and it's so hard to hit when it's spinning like that to keep it down. And Conway puts his foot through it, but just can't keep it down. That's a great tackle. And then a great little one-time ball over to Conway. With the way it's spinning, Conway just cannot get over top of it to put it down.
Jackson Conway, 8 goals in the season. tied Aiden McFadden currently for most in a season in 2's history. So the next one that Jackson Conway gets sets the new bar for goal scorers for Atlanta United 2. Tiente, Firmino, Johnny Fortune dribbles away from Chewich. Highmar headed up into the air and away. Epps sends it away even further, but only to Tony Tiente. Highmar couldn't control it. Moloto got in the way. Epps is there. Chewich will send Bird forward. Dario into the middle, stood up by Tiente. Moloto over to Marcus Epps.
5 minutes left in the half. It's a spot where you really got to lock in mentally, and you don't want to give up that goal going into halftime. It factors in for both teams. You don't want to have that switch off. You're coming up close to the end of the half, but that does not mean that you can let off one bit.
McFarland with the flick to Epps. Epps looking inside. McFarland wants to go top of the 6, defended and headed out of the 18. Tiente tries to settle it down. He does. He's got a little bit of room. Can he find Tristan Traeger outside shoulder? He can. Traeger lays it off Conway, and Warmel is there.
That's a great sequence, though, from Atlanta United, too. It's a great job by Tony Tiente to bring that ball down at the top of the 6, under control, find the space, hit the ball out to Traeger, who squares it up, and a great run from Jackson Conway just puts it into reach of Warmel, who makes the save.
Dario, Gabby Torres, he'll wind up from 25 wide.
Again, you're happy with that all day long if you're Atlanta United too. That if they get into those set situations, and if it crosses into the box from the inline where you can trust your veteran center backs, or if it's a situation where it's going to be, a shot from 22, 23 yards away, you'll live with that because you trust Vicente Reyes to have the eyes to go get it.
Foul on Tulsa. It was a foul on Bird that time. Eric Bird felt compelled to catch up with Alejo Kaluma after that whistle was made.
Just a heavy touch from Traeger there triggers this.
Moloto, too much on it. Epps can't track it down. It will be a throw for the 2s.
It's little bits of pressure there, and it's a loose touch from Traeger that triggers that going the other way, but then you put pressure on the pass. Just because you don't get a turnover in that moment doesn't mean you haven't impacted it. Maybe you get some pressure on the guy putting the pass away. He puts it a little bit hard, puts it a little bit off. It goes out of play, and it resets, and Atlanta United 2 gets a chance to reset their offense.
DeJohn. Target was in between Bryce and Centeno. Bryce tracked it down. Centeno back to Alex DeJohn as Atlanta United 2 moves everyone forward. Into the middle third, Mikey Ambrose. Nice poke, good vision, Tony Tiente. Highmar can cut it to the inside if he wants to. He'll go all the way across to Centeno. Edge of the 18, step over. Well defended that time by Gabby Torres and cleared by FC Tulsa.
Torres has had a lot to do defensively, and he's done well. I know we talked about what he does offensively, but he's done well when called upon.
Atlanta United 2 regaining possession just as quickly. Firmino turns to his right into the middle. Chewich keeping an eye on him. Finding Highmar on the left. Back to Firmino. Johnny Fortune calling for it, middle of the pitch. Back to Mikey Ambrose. And here's your heat map for Reyes right there.
There you go. Expand it out a bit. Have some fun. Go on adventures. Pack a lunch.
DeJohn to Bryce Washington.
Get out around the 30, 40-yard line here.
Late 43rd minute. Probably have a minute or two added on with injuries and such. Won't be a whole lot of time added. Mikey Ambrose looking for Traeger. Dizpay is there, but on the return, so is Firmino to Centeno.
Once again, able to get it out wide to Centeno, see if he can create something with it.
Back post, headed up into the air. Dizpay is there first. Headed down, but Centeno gains it outside the 18. Conway turns, wanted to sweep it and fire with the left, but FC Tulsa defended really well. Chewich finding Epps, but well done by Mikey Ambrose to close that down. Highmar looking into the middle, up and over as it's headed, looking for Jackson Conway. Centeno, step over again, looking back post. And trying for the bicycle kick was Firmino up and over.
I like the amount of brilliance we're going for this evening. That's a player from each side who's gone for the bike. This one at least didn't possibly concuss someone.
Jack Collison, very vociferous with his instructions there after that play.
Well, it's a good job of just sustained pressure from Atlanta United, too. We take a look at it. His cross comes in. Might have been deflected just a little bit. He's a little bit late getting his foot around that ball, so it comes off the side, goes up into the seats. But some sustained pressure from Atlanta United, too, and doing a good job of keeping their shape in the process, making sure that a guy like Mikey Ambrose was back there to sweep things up so it didn't get too dangerous.
Throw for FC Tulsa here in the last minute of the 45. McFarland will do the honors. Into Epps. Into the middle for Bird. Dario touched it as Gabby Torres was trying to work his way down the left-hand side. So an unforced error by FC Tulsa goes back to Atlanta United 2. Moloto pressuring Reyes, looking for Traeger. Gabby Torres was there, but so is Tony Tiente. Pressure from behind by Machuca, pushed off the ball. Tiente stuck with it, and we're going to call advantage and then bring it back to the point of the foul from Machuca here, right on center line.
And I like that from the center ref right there, where it's a foul on Tiente going forward. Tiente keeps his feet. He doesn't go down. He's trying to win it. The ref lets it play out to see if Tiente can continue that advantage. And when he's not able to, he pulls it back.
1 minute added, so we're about 45 seconds away from the end of the first 45. Scooped forward by Ambrose, looking for Highmar. I'm going to say Highmar touched it last as Dispay was looking for a foul call, didn't get it. It'll be a goal kick for Warmel and FC Tulsa with about 30 seconds to go.
You hold the kick here for a minute's check on Dispay, and this gives Atlanta a chance to kind of reorganize themselves. Looks like he may have caught Dispay on the toe there.
I think Dispay on the follow-through made contact with Highmar as he was trying to clear. So
somebody caught somebody, and Dispay got the worst of it.
There you go. One last charge for FC Tulsa. There's Dispay. Hanging on to it. He'll go for the big switch looking for Gabby Torres. Way to calm it down with the first touch. Into the middle. Bird. Moloto. Epps. Tries to get it past Highmar. McFarland. Reyes is there in control. And that will do it. First 45 in the books. What do you think?
I think it's been a fun game going both directions. We've seen a couple chances for both teams. Warmel stood up when he had to, which we expected to see from Tulsa. And we saw Atlanta looking bright, building off of a strong performance, even in that loss against Pittsburgh.
Goalless here after the first 45 minutes. We'll take the tour around the USL Championship, let you know all the news that you need to know about, all the scores you need to know about, standings, as we hit the home stretch here in the regular season. Goalless from Kennesaw. It's the USL Championship from ESPN+. Jarrett and I will try to find our rhythm when we come back.
BB&T and SunTrust are now Truist, together for better.
Los accidentes suceden sin avisar y conseguir el tratamiento médico que usted o un familiar merece puede resultar difícil si no cuenta con la ayuda de un buen abogado. Por eso nos dedicamos a pelear por sus derechos, asegurándonos que usted no solo reciba la compensación que merece, sino que también reciba la mejor atención médica. Le atendemos en español. 404-888-8888. Bader Law Firm, comprometidos con usted y su familia.
You wouldn't put your team on the same field as the pros. So why would you take them to the same doctor? From growth plates to emotional needs, teens are different than adult athletes. Take them where they're treated that way.
Piedmont believes in the people powering Georgia. It's why we're leading real change in healthcare. To give you a better, seamless, more unified experience. So you can simply access and manage your care all in one place. with tools that make it easy to find and book a doctor from almost anywhere, anytime. And even check in before you walk in. Let's keep powering Georgia's growth. Piedmont. Real change lives here.
BB&T and SunTrust are now truest, together for better.
Welcome back to Kennesaw. There's a look at some of the 17s here tonight. Taking a look at Atlanta United 2 and FC Tulsa, goalless at the break. Time to start our tour of what's going on with USL Championship. We'll start you off with the Team of the Week for Week 25, brought to us by our friends at Konami eFootball. And the man between the sticks, Paul Blanchett, had 13 saves in 2 contests, 9 saves in the 3-1 win against San Diego Loyal. He is the player of the week in the USL Championship for Week 25. Some familiar faces from the Eastern Conference that are on the list here. You know, Leo Fernandez in your midfield 4 from Tampa Bay, Bruno Lapa from the midfield in the Birmingham Legion, Luis Solignac, who spent time in and around the USL Championship, seen by a lot of folks for El Paso Locomotive, and up top, Albert Dikwa from the Pittsburgh Riverhounds, scoring both goals in the 2-1 win last time out here against Atlanta United. 3 shots overall, completing 88% of his passes, and Pato from Detroit City at 1 forward. Also in the East on the bench, Tim Trilk on the bench, Johnny Dean, Paco Craig, Robbie Dambro, Tsubasa Endo for his performance for Los Dos, Dario Suarez, who you're seeing tonight against FC Tulsa, and Joel Johnson from Hartford Athletics. Let's take a look at the standings coming into tonight, and this is the situation that Tulsa is staring at for the remaining matches on the year. Lou City through 26 has a 4-point lead. Goal difference right now, Memphis is at 51 points. Tampa is at 51 points, but they are one more win on the board and -4 in goal difference. Birmingham Legion coming into tonight is at 50 points. Pittsburgh Riverhounds, after their win here in the midweeks, at 48. Then you have the Miami FC at 43, Detroit City at 42. FC Tulsa with a tall mountain to climb, 8-point difference as they are in 8th if they want to get into the postseason, only with a handful of games to go. Out west, when you look at the top 8, San Antonio FC has already clinched a playoff spot with 26 matches played, dominant most of the year. Have had a bit of a hiccup recently at 57 points. San Diego Loyal at 52. Another gap to Switchbacks at 48. Then the fun starts. Republic at 43. New Mexico United at 42. El Paso Locomotive, who've played 29 matches, though, they're at 40. Then Vegas Lights and LA Galaxy, 37 and 36. So you've got some races from 4 through 6 and 7 through 8 that can be looked at in the West. And folks underneath 8 looking to get in as well. That is just some of the info that's going on here in the USL Championship. Here's some more info that you need to know.
I'm on that routine. I'm on that routine.
wouldn't put your team on the same field as the pros. So why would you take them to the same doctor? From growth plates to emotional needs, teens are different than adult athletes. Take them where they're treated that way.
Welcome back to Kennesaw as we get you ready for the second 45 minutes. Highlights, stats, and the second 45 coming up just around the corner. But we continue all of the action and info that you need here in and around the USL Championship. We mentioned that FC Tulsa is going to have a new head coach. It will start with next season. They announced earlier this week Blair Gavin, who's currently with the Columbus Crew organization as an assistant. He's going to be the new head coach for FC Tulsa next year. Once again, he's going to conclude his work with Caleb Porter and with Columbus Crew. Then he's going to come to FC Tulsa starting for the 2022, following the end of this campaign, starting for the 23 campaign. Those of you here in Atlanta might remember him for his cup of coffee with the Atlanta Silverbacks. So Blair Gavin, the new head coach at FC Tulsa. Also this week, it looks like the Jax USL group is bringing the USL Championship to the River City in 2025. Tim Tebow is a part of that group, and they also have some heavyweights who have put some quality work together in places like Louisville and other locales in the USL Championship. So Jax USL, keep an eye on them as they continue to build their portfolio looking for 2025. And by the way, did you know that the USL is all for Republic? Tune into the Open Cup final. Sacramento Republic takes on Orlando City this Wednesday. For those of you who have midweek action in USL Championship, it'll be going on at the same time. But you can show your support using the hashtag #AllForRepublic on social media. Watch the USL Open Cup final September 7th at 8 o'clock on ESPN+. That's it for your news and notes. Let's take a look at some of the scores going on here in the East. Charleston Battery looking to get full points against the Red Bulls. Red Bulls 2 down 2 with 30 minutes to go. Detroit City and Indy 11, they are tied at the break. The Miami FC with the lead on Birmingham Legion with 30 to go. That's big for them as they try to continue their climb in the East. Lou City in a crossover, leading Sacramento Republic 2-1. That one's at the break. Also at the break, Tampa Bay in another East-West crossover, leading Vegas Lights by the score of 2-0. So, TV schedule. So you're looking at, hey, what else can I watch in the ESPN family of networks with the USL Championship? In just a little bit, Switchbacks hosting Phoenix Rising, Roots in San Antonio FC, Monterey Bay at Cardinal hosting San Diego Loyal, Orange County, Memphis 901, long road trip for Memphis 901 as they head to Irvine, and then tomorrow Loudoun United at Segra and at the Pittsburgh Riverhounds. So that is a quick tour of what's going on around the USL Championship. Goalless at the break. We'll come back, set you up for the second 45 when we come back.
BB&T and SunTrust are now Truist, together for better.
Los accidentes suceden sin avisar y conseguir el tratamiento médico que usted o un familiar merece puede resultar difícil si no cuenta con la ayuda de un buen abogado. Por eso nos dedicamos a pelear por sus derechos, asegurándonos que usted no solo reciba la compensación que merece, sino que también reciba la mejor atención médica. Le atendemos en español. 404-888-8888. Bader Law Firm, comprometidos con usted y su familia.
You wouldn't put your team on the same field as the pros. So why would you take them to the same doctor? From growth plates to emotional needs, teens are different than adult athletes. Take them where they're treated that way.
Piedmont believes in the people powering Georgia. It's why we're leading real change in healthcare. To give you a better, seamless, more unified experience. So you can simply access and manage your care all in one place. With tools that make it easy to find and book a doctor from almost anywhere, anytime. And even check in before you walk in. Let's keep powering Georgia's growth. Piedmont. Real change lives here.
BB&T and SunTrust are now Truist, together for better.
Getting you ready for the second half of action at the Fraction here on the weekend on ESPN+. The Twos and Tulsa are scoreless. Let's take a look at the highlights that got us to this particular moment in time with these two teams. We welcome Jarrett Smith back in. And Jarrett, the keepers were busy, but so were the defenses.
Yeah, they were, and everybody's standing up. You had a couple of really good saves. We see here Jackson Conway just using his strength, stinging the palms of Hormel, who we talked about being so good. And then you just see the raw speed creating for Tulsa. Then you call Vicente Reyes into action. Then you get another situation where the center backs get split. The game got really stretched for a while there, John. Reyes called into action again. Then Hormel called into action once again as Atlanta got forward, where they were really able to stretch this game out. It got really exhausting at times. What are you seeing?
So here's your first half stats. This is what we see. What do we know?
Well, what we know is it probably is going to get more stretched out in the second half, and as guys get tired, mistakes are possibly going to happen. We'll see how the second half shakes out because, as we know, goals change games. If someone comes out and gets an early goal here, those numbers are going to shift, and they're going to shift hard probably because it's going to be a matter of, I don't feel like playing a wide-open game if I have the lead.
That's you look at your first half match stats. Shots pretty even. Shots on target pretty even. 7 fouls for Tulsa. So let's revisit the Jarrett Smith keys to the game as we head to the second 45. What do you think?
Well, we said Tulsa had to get ahead. They aren't ahead. They're still in a good spot, though. They're not trailing. They're able to keep playing this up. Torres has been able to get forward and create a little bit, not as much as Machuca has. And as for Atlanta United 2, you're still looking for those magical 2 goals that have led to your victories this year. And Suarez and Machuca have caused a little bit of trouble, but you haven't let them get on the score sheet, and they have been key to Tulsa putting goals on the board.
Tulsa chasing after that last playoff spot in the East. They've got to make some hay, and they've got to hope that Detroit City, who's ahead of them by a far margin, falls down as FC Tulsa tries to make this last charge here. And Atlanta United 2 acts as spoiler for a lot of teams down the stretch, whether it comes to positioning, whether they make it into the playoffs. It's up to Atlanta United 2 and the Stripes to sit there and be a pain for everybody else on the schedule for the remainder of time.
It is, and for Tulsa, you are in must-win territory. You're 8 points back. You got to get every point you possibly can, so you're going to have to go for this. We saw it in the first half. Both teams were going for it. We're probably going to see more of that. We're probably going to see some wild stretched moments, last-ditch defending, crazy saves, hopefully a few fun goals along the way. Let's do it together.
Start of the second 45 here in Kennesaw. Atlanta United 2 in their dress blacks with the 5 stripes north and south. We're going from your left to your right as you are watching FC Tulsa in their road whites with the electric gold numbers and letters. They're working their way from right to left here in the second 45. Thanks for hanging out with us however you are doing so, large device or small. If you're at another USL Championship match, if you've got other plans on a Saturday night that might involve first teams, thanks for hanging out with us. He's Jarrett Smith. I'm John Nelson. Mikey Ambrose on the ball for Atlanta United 2. In between Traeger and Conway, but Firmino is there for Atlanta United 2 to close the distance. Keeping possession. Give to Highmar. Tiente thought about it. Pass picked off.
Good read. And now you can go if you're at Tulsa.
Gabby Torres looking in the middle for Maloto, but just as equal a good read for Alex DeJohn. Dario was there. Chance for FC Tulsa goes away by Machuca, and it goes back to Vicente Reyes.
Hard pressing rush there from Tulsa trying to get forward, and we talked about it being stretched out. Probably going to see more of that. They're probably going to see some moments where if you're Atlanta United 2, you're asking Mikey Ambrose and Alex DeJohn not just to be solid in the way they defend, but in the way they read the game. We saw DeJohn do it there very well. You're reading the play of the game, and you're stepping in when you need to. Work smarter, not harder.
Firmino had Centeno to his right. Conway was headed that way, but Centeno was past the path of the ball. It'll be a throw for FC Tulsa here, late 47th minute. Maloto cuts it back to Eric Bird.
A lot of space for Bird to run.
Past McFarland, give to Epps. Epps at the edge of the 18, tries to sweep it up and over everything as he was looking far post. It'll be a goal kick for Atlanta United 2.
Yeah, not sure if he was trying to pick out the upper 90 there or if he was trying to put that on a platter for someone to go not at home, but Vicente Reyes will gratefully accept it.
DeJohn Bryce Washington. Back to Vicente Reyes.
The subs will be interesting in this game, too, as it's gotten stretched out. It's a lot of running for everybody.
Great ball. Can Highmar keep possession? Yes, he can. Great vision there. Highmar cuts it to the inside, into the middle. Firmino trying to turn. Chewich had a little bit of the jersey. Past Jackson Conway, goal kick FC Tulsa.
Little miscommunication. It's a good ball. I don't know if Jackson, if you expected Jackson to stick his foot out for it, or if you expected Centeno to make that run, but it doesn't happen. And what you're left with, there's that ball going out for a goal kick. That's a sneaky goal kick by Reyes, too. I thought he was going to go long over the top to Traeger. Instead, hits a gopher hunter that ends up right at the feet of Highmar.
Dispay. Traeger in pursuit, tries to go through ball, defended well by Bryce Washington. Gabby Torres into the middle looking for Moloto. Tristan Traeger keeps possession, gets around Chewich. Firmino looking for Jackson Conway, had to hold up his run, and Conway kind of got caught up with the idea of Bradley Bourgeois and what Bourgeois wanted to do with it. So here comes Bird once again for FC Tulsa. Looking for Machuca through ball. Bryce Washington will get there first. Gets it back to Reyes.
Machuca's going to empty that fuel tank as much as he possibly can.
Fortune. Bird grabbed that from behind. Ball rocketed forward, deflected, and it goes back to a Johnny Fortune. Tiente through ball. Traeger waits for it. Defended well by Dispay. And Highmar tried to get there before Dispay does. It's going to be a throw for the twos.
A good recognition by Highmar to let that roll out. Shuttles him off the ball, so he's able to go. Great throw in.
Firmino blocked by Bourgeois. A Johnny Fortune called for the foul.
And Johnny got around the back of his legs just a little bit there.
The benches for both of these teams. Go ahead and take another look at it.
Arms tucked in, nothing to look at there. And yet, Johnny gets a little bit of the back of his legs, trying to kind of go around him and kind of doing the reach around with the foot there to try and poke it away. Just catches the back of the leg.
Just remember, on the bench for FC Tulsa, another foul on Bryce Washington that time. You've got Rodrigo on the bench for FC Tulsa. You've got Darwin Mateus, Johnny Vial, Noah Cobb, Luke Brennan, Nelson Orji for Atlanta United 2, but Rodrigo lurking on the bench for FC Tulsa here with 40 to go.
And they will empty it out. We talked about it. It's a must-win situation. They will empty out as much as they need to, depending on how the game state of this one plays out.
DeJohn reads that one well, settles it for Tiente. Pass intended for Traeger, made it to Epps instead. Bird in the middle. Moloto over to Gabby Torres. The return to Libo Moloto. McFarland. Chewich. Quick touch looking for Machuca. But DeJohn was there for Atlanta United 2. Swept back to Reyes. Working quickly. Give to Mikey Ambrose. Has help to his left. That's where he goes. And Highmar. Highmar looking for Jackson Conway. Going to push in the back. And hand in the air by the captain, Bradley Bourgeois.
A good sell from Jackson. I mean, it's a foul, but Jackson goes on the springboard as well, and now we're going to get a card.
Eric Bird in the way.
That's a little insult with the injury there, because he's standing in the way. Jackson Conway is on the short list of people you don't really want to stand in the way of when they're shooting.
No.
That leg is a weapon, and so he gets the ball in the back and gets a yellow for standing over the ball.
6th yellow on the season for Eric Bird, and there's your quick reset. Bird, you see Bird kind of stepping back into it.
Yeah. Hey, I didn't do it.
What'd I do?
Yeah.
Well, what you did.
You stopped him from taking a quick free kick. You're taking the yellow card. Now we'll see if Atlanta tries to attack Bird.
Oh, and we'll keep an eye on that, too. You saw that finger wag looking back at Alejo Kaluma. Keep an eye on that, too. Highmar, too much for Traeger. Dispay is there for FC Tulsa. And he'll just send it away and out. It'll be a throw for the twos. Mikey Ambrose back to Alex DeJohn. Reyes. Bryce Washington. The Johnny Fortune tries to get away from Chewich. He does. Turns to his left. Bird closing. Give to Centeno.
Atlanta putting a lot of bodies in the box there with that 3 up top look.
Fortune looking for Centeno with the push. Bourgeois away with the left. Bird traps it, spins and sends it away with the left. Moloto gets past Alex DeJohn. Bryce Washington on a full sprint to try to close it down. Moloto looking for Epps on the flip side of the 18. Finds him. Epps wants to set up the left, up and over. Goal kick late in the 53rd.
If we stretch this game anymore, it's going to break. It's a matter of their Atlanta getting forward, and it goes the other way. Alex DeJohn commits to that ball, isn't able to get to it. Sticks his foot out there to try and get a touch to it, is unable to do so.
Foul on Jackson Conway. He and Dispay were going after the ball as it was headed out. Conway gained possession, but he fouled Dispay on the way by. Let's take another peek.
Yeah, Dispay gets to it first, and Jackson looks like he steps on his foot. So until the trainers don't need to worry about coming on, he'll stay in, doesn't have to go off the field.
So halfway through the 54th. Chewich centrally to Bourgeois, and he'll go back to Warmel. Foot into select soccer ball. Goes to Mikey Ambrose. Chewich tracking it down was Dispay trying to get away from Firmino. Firmino goes down in a heap. FC Tulsa with possession. Moloto gets past Tiente. Still down behind the play is Nicholas Firmino. Bryce Washington finding a Johnny Fortune. Wanted to launch Traeger down the middle, but it heads straight to Warmel.
Firmino up, looking a little gingerly, but he's getting back into the flow of things.
Bird up the middle to Moloto. He'll find McFarland on the right.
It's almost serene when the game isn't this insanely stretched. I was getting used to it.
Bird has some help to his left. That's where he goes. It's Gabby Torres. Moloto in the middle. McFarland thought about winding it up, goes far post, up and over as he was looking for Dario. It'll be a goal kick for Atlanta United, too.
You see both teams look for that ball and just a little overhit. We'll see what they're able to create from those situations. Atlanta's done a good job of staying organized when they're not stretched beyond impossible. They're able to organize and just kind of force Tulsa to settle for that ball.
Ambrose surveys. Give to Highmar. Centrally to Tiente. Big switch. Centeno near center line. Dario is there marking him. Fortune. Firmino. Centeno. Johnny Fortune. Back to Bryce Washington in the back line of Atlanta United 2. Alex DeJohn to Mikey Ambrose.
You're saying to make that switch, see if they go quickly here with Ambrose over the top.
Ambrose intended for Jackson Conway. Dispay was there first. Chewich to Bird, and here comes FC Tulsa. Pass to Johnny Fortune. Moloto. Back to Bird. Chewich center circle. McFarland with a lot of room. Leaves it for Epps. Bird took a peek over his left shoulder before he charged. Moloto tries to scoop it up and over. Settled down. Bird, last touch, defended well by Bryce Washington. It'll be a corner, but Bryce is feeling it.
It's a great bit of work from Bryce Washington. Yeah, he's feeling that one, and it may take a minute to get up from that.
Yep. Take your time.
He's still down on knee, and the ref's going to hold this corner.
Yeah, Bryce is feeling that one. Let's take a peek at it.
Well, Bryce gets beat on it initially. That he's waiting for that ball to come in. Bird comes sprinting in, does a great job, but then Bryce recovers, gets in the way, and pays for it with the ball right off the inside of the groin.
In-swinger with the right, chested, headed up again by Alex DeJohn. Dispay sends it back inside the 18. Dario turns, just missed near post.
It's a matter of cleaning up those set pieces. They were not cleaned initially. It falls, and you get one that fizzes just wide of the post if you're Tulsa.
Dario that close to his 6th goal on the season. It would have been the first goal here in the match. Halfway through the 58th minute. Mikey Ambrose into the middle with Tony Tiente. Tiente finds Centeno. Looking for Traeger. The hand fighting is there with Gabby Torres, and you're going to get a foul on Traeger.
A good bit of hand fighting there, and then eventually you just blow it to make him take it from back there. Gives everybody a chance to reset. If you're Atlanta, you'll take that. If you're Tulsa, you're frustrated because you just had that foul called. You got a chance to go quickly while everybody's trying to get forward, and now you have to slow it down.
So Bourgeois will take the whistle from Alejo Kaluma. Bourgeois looking for a little assistance, has to go back to Wormel to get everything started. Launched forward with the right. Tiente wins first ball.
That's great from Tiente, and great to see more of it. Is winning the first ball has been great, but it's making sure that when you win that first ball, you're directing it towards somebody in the same shirt as you, so that second ball doesn't fall to someone and trigger an opportunity going against you.
Ambrose, Firmino, Highmar released, deflected, far post, up in the air by Gabby Torres outside the 18, chested down by Tiente. Finds Ambrose as a partner. Firmino set to charge once again, lays it off for Highmar, headed up into the air by Dispay outside the 18. McFarland to Mikey Ambrose. 5 bodies there, 3 for the twos, and they'll keep possession in Tiente. Ambrose sweeps it in, looking far post. Conway made contact, headed it straight down, a near miss for Atlanta United 2.
And Conway gets his head to it and just puts it straight down, but it's never on target, and it bounces out harmlessly, but it's a good ball. Centeno wanted that big switch. Instead, you get the ball into the box, and it's always good look. Take a look at it again. It's good from Ambrose. Conway gets his head to it, puts it straight down like you're taught, but not able to put it on frame.
Wormel just has to get rid of it there. It's going to be a throw for Atlanta United 2 in the attacking third. Bryce Washington back to Alex DeJohn. Reyes directing traffic. Go ahead and send it all the way over to Mikey Ambrose. Ambrose on a good 20-yard run through.
Great
ball
ball
to Highmar. What can they do with it here? Cut back past Firmino. Centeno launch over the bar.
What a great ball in the first place to read the run, puts it in a great spot. The ball ends up in no man's land in the middle of the box, and Centeno just not able to keep it down. Let's take another look at it. Such a great ball, and then eventually it falls to Centeno, takes a touch to get it settled. It's going for that top corner, just not able to keep it down.
Looks like Bird got a bit of a touch on it before Centeno tried to settle it down and get it into the upper corner. Another near miss for Atlanta United 2. Field's kind of tilting a little bit to the twos on offense here the last handful of minutes.
If you're Tulsa, you want to take the air out of the ball a little bit here, but Atlanta's not going to let them. You're starting to see them step up with that press, and now it's going to be on guys like Bryce Washington right there to read the play and make sure you don't get beat on the long ball.
Reyes looking in the neighborhood of Centeno. Chewich center circle to McFarland on the right. Moloto, top of the arc looking for Machuca. Machuca was looking for Epps, picked off by Highmar and Atlanta United 2. Firmino gives to Highmar, defense to offense quickly, center circle, Tiente. He's got a little bit of space. He's got 10 yards to work with. Goes to Centeno on the right-hand side. Gabby Torres is there marking him. Torres holding his ground, well defended there, pokes it away. And here comes FC Tulsa again. Moloto can't get past Alex DeJohn. Stood up.
What great defense from Alex DeJohn. Atlanta stretched out. It's 2-on-2 coming the other way. Johnny Fortune had dropped back with Mikey Ambrose, but then you had the long run coming on the far side. It's great defense because it saves you from a really dangerous situation.
Epps back to McFarland.
It's the second time we've seen that from them. from Tulsa, excuse me, where Tulsa's been able to get on those breaks, and Epps just kind of leaks in as the late runner.
Traeger sends Bryce Washington. Bryce wanted to send it in toward the 6, blocked away by Bourgeois. And Bryce Washington fouled by Bourgeois in the backwash. It'll be a set piece here for Atlanta United 2 from about 25, just between 25 and 30. First set piece in a while for the Twos.
It's an unnecessary foul from Bourgeois, too, because it's a dangerous spot. Atlanta does have Mikey Ambrose on the field, who is sneaky good with the ball at his feet. Now, this isn't really a shooting opportunity, but we know Atlanta, what they have in their size and what they can create off set pieces. It's an unnecessary foul there because he's going away from goal. He's going to play it back and kind of recycle things. You don't need to make that foul and give them an opportunity in such a dangerous spot.
So your choices, Traeger and Highmar. Traeger with the right, Highmar directing traffic. He would be with the left. Warmel with a two-man wall for FC Tulsa. Traeger, back post, headed toward the top of the 6th and in! Jackson Conway, his 9th. It's a new bar for goals scored this season for Atlanta United 2. 27 to go. The Twos are on the board.
And we talked about not needing to give them an unnecessary set piece, and the Twos take advantage of it. It's a great bit of delivery, an unselfish ball across the box, and Jackson Conway does what he has done all season long for this team when given those opportunities, puts it in the back of the net. A great ball across the box. Conway's able to stop. Much tougher than it looks to stop your momentum on a sprint like that. Gets his foot around it, keeps it down enough to get it under the bar, and now if you're Tulsa, you're really chasing this situation. You thought it was open before, buddy. Watch this.
First assist on the year by Nicholas Firmino. Great presence of mind by Firmino to head it back into play toward the 6 so Conway could slam the door.
Well, a lot of times it's what you're looking for in that situation. You get it to that far post like that. You're not necessarily trying to hit such a tight angle shot. You're getting it back into the traffic of somebody who's going to make that run.
Rodrigo now in for FC Tulsa. And it looks like
Luke Brennan for Atlanta as well.
Noah Powder is in. So Machuca's day is done. Rodrigo is in. Marcus Epps' day is done. Luke Brennan is now in for Eric Centeno. There'll be a test on this later.
I did not study.
Traeger sends it forward to Conway. Cuts it back. Traeger wanted to wind and fire, and it's over the net.
Well, we always talk about it's so dangerous after you score a goal that you want to get, that you might give one up in those moments right after that. But we see from Atlanta United too there, they smell the blood in the water. They've smelled the blood in the water for the last 10 to 15 minutes. And it was at that moment right there where they get the turnover. It's unselfish from Jackson Conway. Leaves it off for Tristan Traeger, who has shown you this year he can be so clinical in those moments, just gets under it.
Dario now playing further forward. Bird into the middle. Rodrigo. All the way over to McFarland on the right. Highmar is there for Atlanta United 2. Very, very slow-mo step over. Highmar held his ground. McFarland keeps it for FC Tulsa. Bird through ball, but there is Mikey Ambrose to defend, and going into the ad boards is McFarland as Atlanta United 2 tries to regroup and send it into the middle third. Chested and directed nicely there by Firmino. Traeger on the return ball. 3-on-2. Backtracking quickly is FC Tulsa. Conway on the left.
Good defensive work.
Deflected by Bourgeois. Nicely done to defend.
Bourgeois had to get it right. He closes it down. Manages to get enough of it. A perfect bit of defensive work. Able to get enough of it to just keep it down, knock it down right for Warmel. But those moments are going to continue because Tulsa has to get forward, so we're going to see those stretched moments.
Moloto over on the left-hand side to Noah Powder. His first touch. Moloto working centrally. Rodrigo. Bird. On the right-hand side, McFarland sweeps it in, and he's looking far post over the in line. goal kick.
Don't miss a minute of the action in 2022, whether your club is on the road or at home. Catch nearly every second of USL Championship action on ESPN+, the home of the USL, MLS, La Liga, the Bundesliga, UFC, and more. Sign up today at plus.espn.com.
Well done. Thank you. Reyes looking for Conway. Bourgeois now playing centrally up into the air. Luke Brennan is there to get second touch for Atlanta United 2. Brennan on the right-hand side. FC Tulsa having to backtrack. Muscled off the ball. Well done there by FC Tulsa. And here comes Bird through the middle. Gets past Tiente. Thought about going past Johnny Fortune. Bryce Washington there to defend. Gabby Torres can't work his way into the middle, so he has to yield possession, sending it backwards. Lebo Moloto now on the right-hand side. Here's Dario. He's got McFarland to his outside. Rodrigo, top of the box. Moloto through, headed away. He'll get it back. Take two into the middle. Rodrigo wants to set up that left, being held by Mikey Ambrose defensively very well. Swept in, over to John, and we're tied. Dario with the header in the 69th. And for Dario, that is his 6th on the year, and just like that, 4 minutes of a lead, honors even 1-1.
Well, it's a lifeline for Tulsa. It's exactly what they needed. We asked earlier, what are they going to be able to create when they don't get those transition opportunities? Well, what they create was a wonderful cross-in, and Dario puts that perfectly with pace away from Vicente Reyes. Take a look at it right here. Able to settle on the ball. Nice little curling ball to the back post.
Powder, back post, Dario. And we're tied. And that looks like that's McFarland's night.
So this isn't, as we talked about earlier, 1 point isn't going to be enough for Tulsa. They are still going to push for this. This fight's not over by any stretch.
Johnny Fenwick now in for FC Tulsa, replacing Cian McFarland, so his day is done. And here comes Firmino. Bourgeois cuts Highmar off. Last touch by Highmar, no foul, but Alejo Kaluma is requesting that Bradley Bourgeois go backward.
Not sure how much further back he wants him
and throw from a
throw.
position that he was not in.
2 feet. 2 feet he had.
Bradley Bourgeois is like, how about now?
Ends up throwing it from the same spot he threw it in the first place.
Highmar there first. Mikey Ambrose will track it down for Atlanta United 2. Back to Alex DeJohn. So up front, it looks like it's Gabby Torres, Moloto,
good touch,
Rodrigo, Jackson Conway looking for Traeger. Fenwick's first touch is to get it out of trouble. Bird with a peek into the middle. Moloto leaves it for Rodrigo. Rodrigo over the top finds Gabby Torres. Bryce Washington in pursuit. Looking for far post. And Mikey Ambrose just cleans up that. And it'll be a corner for FC Tulsa here with 20 to go.
I'm not sure if Bryce Washington thought he was just trickling offside or if he just got caught watching there, but he got a little bit behind the play, had to catch up to it. And then with your back to the attacker and you're looking at your goal like that, Mikey Ambrose is going to trust his set-piece defense. You just want to get it out of there, get rid of the danger when you know you've got someone bearing down on your back like that.
Rodrigo with the left and in swinger. Actually, he'll go top of the box for it. Bird up and over everybody. That was off the training ground. But Bird from about 23 or 4 sent it a good couple of feet over the bar. And Alex DeJohn now with possession for Atlanta United 2. To his right, Bryce Washington. Up the channel through Jackson Conway. Luke Brennan wiped out, no call. And here comes Bird again for FC Tulsa. Looks up, looks to his right, gives to Dario. Dario up and over Rodrigo. Bryce Washington is there, heads it away. Gabby Torres will track it down. Luke Brennan is there in pursuit. Powder. And Kimbo Kibato is now in the game also for FC Tulsa. Powder, step overs. Luke Brennan held his ground. Kibato couldn't keep possession. Rodrigo, Kibato, Moloto. Rodrigo again. Dario on the turn. Give to Bourgeois all the way out on the right. Looking far post, up and over everybody. Luke Brennan will head it away, but not out. Kibato wanted to wind and fire. Johnny Fortune got in the way. Nick Firmino is trying to get away from Bird. He'll go down the right-hand side. Onside flag is down. Jackson Conway can't keep it.
That's one of those that Luke Brennan, you want him to put it anywhere else other than right there. When he's heading danger away, he hits it back to the middle of the box. It's just one of those moments. I know he's trying to start something on the counter going the other way, but it lands in the wrong spot. Now an opportunity for Atlanta, perhaps.
Kibato is trying to wrestle the ball away from Firmino. Noah Cobb set to check in probably at the next opportunity for Atlanta United 2. Saw him put his Dayglow green penny away. Brennan tried to get around the defense, couldn't do it. Bird up to Powder. Nicely done there by Luke Brennan for the steal. And you're going to get a foul on Powder.
Luke Brennan, one of a number of players on this team who aren't old enough to buy a lottery ticket but can come in and dribble on just about anybody they want. Brennan's feisty over there on the right side, can cause a lot of problems and thinks and moves very quickly, and has really come on strong in the second half of the season for Atlanta United too.
Another sub coming in at the next opportunity for FC Tulsa. It'll be their last window. Here's another look. Powder wondering, the call was on me, question mark. Highmar and Traeger.
Eyeball in 10 yards, give or take, I guess.
And Kaluma is wanting the two-man wall for Tulsa to back up just a bit. Traeger, big right, headed up into the air by Rodrigo. Kibato's second touch, and it will be a throw for Atlanta United 2.
Looks like they were trying to loose Jackson Conway for that and were unable to do so. The ball didn't clear the first defender.
Abuchi Obinwa now checking in the 75th minute, so he will give Donovan Ricketts 15. That'll be the night for Lebo Moloto. And here comes a Noah Cobb for Atlanta United 2. And that's the night for Tony Tiente. Tiente puts in 75. What'd you think?
Really impressed with Tony Tiente. He had at times where he switches with Johnny Fortune. One of them goes, one of them sits. Carried the ball well at times, played hard, had a couple misplaced passes, but nothing bad, really. Tony Tiente continues to impress this season when he's been pushed into some really tough situations. Tonight he got to start from the start for the second time in a row, really impressed with his work.
Ambrose back to DeJohn. And he'll go back to Reyes.
Cobb sitting a little further forward. I wondered if him coming in meant, that you would change how it looks into more of a four-man back line.
Noah Cobb with the right, looking for Brennan. Fenwick heads it away. Kibato, part of this rush for FC Tulsa. Rodrigo was looking for Gabby Torres. Bird got there instead. Last touch by Bird, goal kick.
Yeah, he managed to wind up and hit that off of Bird on the way out. Took a bit of a double deflection. I always love to hear that thump sound.
So Cobb and Brennan are your substitutes so far for Atlanta United 2 here in the second half. Firmino tried to get in the way of that pass. Kibato. Powder. On the left-hand side, Brennan doing some nice work over there. They have to retreat to Fenwick. Traeger in pursuit, so they'll go all the way back to Warmel. Jackson Conway tried to disrupt that a little bit. Dispay gets around Highmar, gets past Noah Cobb. Tries to go through ball. Bryce Washington's there. Noah Cobb with the calming touch, and he'll give to Firmino. Not a lot on it. Gabby Torres closing ground. Good work by Luke Brennan to keep possession, but he sends it into the defense of FC Tulsa, sliding in Noah Cobb, and it's kept with FC Tulsa. Torres into the middle for Dario. Dario Saved by Reyes. Big save to his right. And we stay at ones.
Looks like that's going goal bound. Take another look at it right here. Ambrose tries to get in front of you. That looks like it's going in if Reyes doesn't get a touch to it. Good job. Full extension. Pushes it wide.
Take another peek real quick. Dario past Mikey Ambrose, who might have screened Reyes a little bit. But Rodrigo will send it in with the left here late in the 78th. Headed up into the air. Second touch. Once again up into the air. Third touch by Fenwick. Finally out of the 18. And here comes Atlanta United 2. Can Firmino track it down? Yes. He'll get around Dispay, but Dispay will slow that rush down. It'll stick with the twos.
Firmino wants a ball immediately. There's not one to be had.
So Highmar found one instead and threw it into Mikey Ambrose.
Hey, any way you can do it, you do it.
Firmino, ball. Highmark got you covered. Turnover.
Good pressure.
Bourgeois working quickly into Bird.
Atlanta really tilted the field for a good part of the second half of this game. And then Tulsa gets the equalizer, and they have really started to lean on Atlanta more and more as they're creating more opportunities. Pressure there creates a little bit of a turnover, and then now more pressure coming in.
Bourgeois wanted to send it in, looking far post. Tries to go flick, headed away by Mikey Ambrose. Kibato back to Dispay and Powder. Obinwa. Bryce Washington is over there with him. Powder looking for a partner. Finds one in Bird in the middle. Quick 1-2 touch. Rodrigo, can he track it down? Tries to get around Bryce Washington. Shepherded nicely. Goal kick.
Great work from Bryce Washington. Uses that strength that we know he has. And he's just able to keep him off the ball, let it roll out harmlessly. No harm, no foul, no trouble for Atlanta United 2. They can start to rebuild. But watch Tulsa try and create something here.
Mikey Ambrose tries to get around Dario. Give to DeJohn. Lead to Bryce Washington. Up the wing to Luke Brennan. Brennan past Kibato. Firmino to Bryce and back to Vicente Reyes as we come up on 10 minutes plus any added time to go. Jackson Conway's 9th goal of the year made it 1-0 back in the 64th. Dario's 6th, tied it 4 minutes later, and that's where we are here. 10 minutes to go here at Fifth Third Bank Stadium. FC Tulsa and Atlanta United 2 alongside Jarrett Smith. I'm John Nelson. Thanks for hanging out with us as you have all evening long. Bird to Dario. Dario surveyed inside the 18, pulled it back out to Bourgeois. Bourgeois cuts it inside, wants to work with his left, looking for a partner. Palms up, found Dario instead. Rodrigo tries to go for a quick brace, and it goes right to Vicente Reyes. So Reyes kind of calming things down a little bit. No quick release. Surveying from left to right. He'll give to Alex DeJohn.
Atlanta's got to get out of their own half and get something going on the offensive side. They've really been pinned back for the last 10, 15 minutes or so. They got to get something going forward, get something positive out of this. We know that Jack Collison has them playing in a way that forces the issue. There you go.
Brennan called for it, got it. Or Traeger called for it and got it. So here comes Luke Brennan now on the charge, looking at Johnny Fenwick. Trying to get around Fenwick. He does. Has to wanted to send it in toward the top of the 6th. Fenwick defends. It's going to be a corner for Atlanta United 2.
Can't watch the match? Turn on Sirius XM FC 157, North America's only 24/7 source for engaging soccer talk, including USL All Access, Tuesday nights at 7 Eastern. Plus, hear live matches from the USL, MLS, English Premier League, and more, all on Sirius XM FC 157 and the SXM app.
And that'll do for your promotional reads for this evening. Highmar will bring it in with the left here late in the 82nd. Up and over Kibato inside the 6, headed away. Mikey Ambrose is going to get called for a foul, and we're going to get a card. We are.
So we got a sub coming in for Atlanta as well.
Looks like Johnny Vial. And that will be the evening for Nicholas Firmino. So Jonathan Viall comes in the 83rd.
Take a look at this, and he gets to it. They both go up for it, and Mikey's a little bit late getting to it. Breaks up any potential counter. You'll take that yellow if you are Mikey Ambrose. It makes everything reset. You have the sub coming in. You're able to get your defense ready now. Johnny Viall on the field.
Bird into the middle.
Another one of these young players who can't buy a lottery ticket, but they can dribble you.
And press you out of the building with all the speed. Dispay into the middle, Rodrigo. And returned. Dispay looked up, looking far post, up and over. Control is there by Gabby Torres. Dario just outside the 18, looking into the middle. Rodrigo leaves for Bird. Bird wanted to wind and fire. Rodrigo on the spin, wanted to set with the left. It was blocked. Kibato finally does calm it down, gets around Tristan Traeger. Bourgeois looking far post. Reyes tracking it down and is there.
Good catch. Able to hang on to it, now trying to trigger it going the other way.
Jackson Conway trying to look over either shoulder to see if he could track down that long-range pass.
And tap it away, make slow things down a bit.
Into Dispay. Traeger with the token pressure. Kibato with the return. Now Dispay with about 15 yards of space. Head of steam, third gear and now fourth. Over to the right-hand side, and Rodrigo pushed through, and the whiff on the chance by Obinwa.
Oh, my. Full extension from Alex DeJohn to try and get to it, but unable to get to it. And then Obinwa just unable to connect with it cleanly. And Johnny Fortune still down.
Kaluma whistled the foul. Atlanta United 2 wanted the quick start. Looked like they were going to get it. Didn't get it. Johnny Fortune's down.
Well, I think he was willing to give it to him, but he pulled it back when Johnny Fortune stayed down. We'll take a quick look at this, John. It's a good ball in, and just foul tip, strike one.
No doubt about that. Obinwa definitely would want that opportunity back. Johnny Viall gets past Bird. Welcome to the match. Viall sticking with it, but Bourgeois is there after it hits another couple of players. Pinballs around Mikey Ambrose. We'll keep an eye on it. Last touch by FC Tulsa as Dario tried to steal it and have it work the other way.
Well, as Tulsa keeps pushing for this, a guy like Viall can do something like that where he can make you miss and maybe pick up a foul in that spot if he's not able to create a very good opportunity. A long throw.
Long throw by Highmar. Highmar went to Reyes. Reyes was looking for Ambrose. Atlanta United 2 trying to calm things down here just a little bit. Cobb back to DeJohn, and he'll go back to Vicente Reyes with a little bit of space.
Good bit of work play out of pressure. Now you try and get forward.
Looking for Jackson Conway. Fenwick heads it down. Second ball and third to FC Tulsa. Kibato spins away from Viall. That's a rare occurrence in USL Championship. Gabby Torres doubles back, and he'll find Bird. Torres again on the stop-start. It's got Bourgeois, and that's where he goes. Through a couple of players, Viall comes away with it, looking initially for Gabby Torres. Looks like Torres lost his footing a little bit. Brennan back to Bryce Washington, not enough on it. Here comes FC Tulsa again. Kibato, Dario, through, chance, and in through the six. It was there for Gabby Torres on the send.
Just a sloppy pass here or there sets Tulsa back where they're able to get Atlanta a little bit disorganized, get the ball switched out to the right-hand side. Ball goes in just a little bit, just tantalizingly close. Two opportunities in the last 5 minutes for Tulsa.
Kibato all over Mikey Ambrose. He has to yield to Cobb, who gives to DeJohn. In through the middle, pinballs through. FC Tulsa will gain possession. Kibato tries to get away from Traeger.
Traeger was looking for somebody to continue that pressure, to be there to pick that ball up. This is an interesting area, though, with really less than 3 minutes left plus stoppage time for Atlanta United 2.
Left through Rodrigo, saved up into the air by Reyes. Got the big paw up to keep it at 1. Bourgeois is defended, and it's going to be a goal kick. Last touch by FC Tulsa. Vicente Reyes comes up big.
Wow, what a save from Vicente Reyes. And you're going to see that one again. Take a look at this. A great little dummy in. Ball's going to his left side. Strong hand to get back against his weight and save it. Atlanta United 2's back line. Got to tighten up here.
Traeger, marked by Dispay. Nice piece of juggling to get to Cobb. A Johnny Fortune looking long to Vial.
These are tough moments for these young players. It's late in the game. You're gonna feel like you're cramping up. Your body's really struggling, and you've got to dig down and find something.
Vial past Kibato and in by Jackson Conway.
He found something.
Jacko with the brace. Vial with the pass and the vision. With a minute and a half in stoppage to go, the Twos are that close to full points.
Look at Jack Collison picking up little Johnny Vial like a proud parent. Whole team congratulating Vial on that assist. Great run from the young kid just back from international duty. Fights through the contact, plays it off to Conway, who doesn't miss. As we approach stoppage time, Atlanta United 2. We talked about you got to dig deep in these games. Late, your body's hurting, your mind is hurting. You got to keep fighting, and they're able to do it, and they find that second goal they were looking for.
Donovan Ricketts having a conversation with the fourth, and anyone willing to listen at center line.
I don't blame him necessarily. We'd want another look. It looks like Conway was either dead even or just barely offside.
And with all of the conversations, Donovan Ricketts has a conversation with Alexander Zhelyashkov and Aleo Kaluma, and we're at 2-1. Now the next question will be, how many minutes will be raised on the light board? Dario looking punched clear by Reyes all the way out to Jackson Conway. Chests it down, then he'll spring Vial.
Great ball from Jackson Conway.
Johnny Fenwick keeping an eye on Johnny Vial. Step over central. He'll leave it for Conway just inside the 18 and missed! Traeger had it right there on his boot.
Conway's got nothing left in the tank.
And you can't rest. There's 3 minutes added. You've got 2.5, and you've got to get back. Here's Bird with another look quickly with FC Tulsa in transition. There's Conway and Traeger, and he knew it.
Oh, my. Tristan Traeger's been so clinical this season since he came in out of the Air Force Academy. My goodness.
Dispay off to the left, and Dario. Dario looking top of the sixth, right on Vicente Reyes.
Reyes taking his time. He will lay down. He will have a nap. He might have a snack, maybe catch up on a couple shows and a book before he puts this ball back in play.
I got some Netflix recommendations if he needs them. 2 minutes and any other additional time that Kaluma wants to add to his watch. Reyes sends it toward the state line, but it ends up in the hands of Warmel. Bird going long down the middle, looking for Rodrigo. Bryce Washington was there, and the flag is up. That'll burn more time.
And Jackson Conway is really struggling out there up top for Atlanta United too. I think he put everything he had left in the tank in that run, and it's a beautiful ball across. Now Johnny Vial's down. Trainer's going to come out.
Take a look at Johnny Vial
Hopefully
here.
it's just a cramp for Johnny.
Yeah, hope so.
He hasn't been on the field that long, so.
But they're
hopefully
looking at.
It's a warm night.
They're feeling at the. Taking a look at that hamstring and the quad on the right-hand side for Johnny Vial.
Someone get Jackson Conway some oxygen, please.
You see the 17s on edge, this close to full points for Atlanta United 2.
Obviously, this will be more time back on the clock. The referee's going to add this back on.
Vial's on his feet.
He'll have to come off at least for a little bit. What a great moment for him tonight, getting that assist. I believe that's his first assist. Third assist, excuse me.
So Vicente Reyes will give to Kaluma. I guess technically it's a drop ball situation.
Yeah, he's going to make Kaluma put that ball exactly where Kaluma wants it.
There you go. So Kaluma puts it where he wishes. Vicente Reyes, we're on the north end of the 3 minutes added. Now Vial is back on. Reyes just sends it into row A.
Stats and info letting us know that he had 2 assists against Charleston. Which game it was, I don't remember because they dropped 4 goals, I think, on Charleston twice.
Up and over, looking long for Dario, and Vicente Reyes will hang on to it.
The sun is down, and the arts, they are dark right now for Atlanta United 2, just trying to get this thing across the line.
Dario doubling back. Reyes into the air. Traeger and Bourgeois on the joust. Jackson Conway gets possession. And see if he's learned from his artistry. You're going to get a foul on either Gabby Torres or Bourgeois. It doesn't really matter at this point. It's a foul on FC Tulsa.
Well, I wasn't sure if Jackson was going to sit on it there or if he was going to go sit in the corner and try and pitch a tent.
Choice D, all the above. Kaluma.
Again, Atlanta United 2 is going to take all the time in the world they need here, and Tulsa is going to keep asking for more time to get put back on the clock.
Kaluma wants it put in play. And there you go. It's quickly put in play. Scoop from Traeger back to Highmar. And last touch by Atlanta United 2. Bourgeois.
95th minute now.
Kibato back to Fenwick. Fenwick on a full sprint down the left-hand side to Dario. Into the middle to Dizpay. He's got Bird to his right. Couldn't quite find the handle. Pestered by Vial. Little grab of the shirt. Nothing happening there. It's going to go all the way through, and Vicente Reyes will hang on to it. Full time! First win for Atlanta United 2 since June the 29th. The streak is over. And it took a brace from Jackson Conway to do it. Up 1-0, you give up that goal a couple minutes later. No quit in the side. The Conway brace puts them over the top.
It's great fight from this team. It's a wide open game because Tulsa needs full points from this game. And then you needed Jackson Conway to step up. He tied the goals in a season record, and then he decides to go and break it tonight in extreme fashion by getting the goal that gets you in front. You give up a goal 4 minutes later as Tulsa really starts to tilt the field against you. And you can see it in the Tulsa players just dropping to the ground. They're exhausted. They put everything they had into this. They had to get 3 points out of it. They get that goal that ties it up. They get so close. You have the missed opportunity at the top of the box where it's just a whiff. Then you have Vicente Reyes making an outstanding save, going against his body, reaching back with that big left hand. And then finally, it's Johnny Vial dribbling through the midfield, finding space, getting it off to Jackson Conway, who buries it home.
We'll put a bow on it when we come back to the fraction. Full points, 5 stripes, 2-1 over FC Tulsa. Stick and stay. We'll be right back.
Los accidentes suceden sin avisar y conseguir el tratamiento médico que usted o un familiar merece puede resultar difícil si no cuenta con la ayuda de un buen abogado. Por eso nos dedicamos a pelear por sus derechos, asegurándonos que usted no solo reciba la compensación que merece, sino que también reciba la mejor atención médica. Le atendemos en español. 404-888-8888. Bader Law Firm, comprometidos con usted y su familia.
wouldn't put your team on the same field as the pros. So why would you take them to the same doctor? From growth plates to emotional needs, teens are different than adult athletes. Take them where they're treated that way.
Piedmont believes in the people powering Georgia. It's why we're leading real change in healthcare. To give you a better, seamless, more unified experience. So you can simply access and manage your care all in one place. With tools that make it easy to find and book a doctor from almost anywhere, anytime. And even check in before you walk in. Let's keep powering Georgia's growth. Piedmont. Real change lives here.
Welcome back to Kennesaw 17's waiting for Atlanta United 2's players to come and visit and greet them as they always do after every match. Full points for the 2s tonight. First time on the winning side of the ledger since the game at Patriots Point back in late June. No surprise, man of the match presented by Piedmont Orthopedics. Jacko.
It had to be. Jackson Conway gets you the brace tonight. He sets the record for goals in a season for Atlanta United 2. Does it in great fashion. It's a great finish on the first one where he takes it out of the air off the bounce, gets his body twisted around it, keeps it down enough to put it in the back of the net, and then when it mattered most at the end of the game, from the angle, an absolute rocket that Wormald gets a touch to, but not enough. Lands in the back of the net. Jackson Conway sending everybody in Kennesaw home happy.
All right, let's take a peek at your final numbers and see what we have here after 90 minutes. This is what we see. What do we know?
Well, we know that Tulsa came in here looking to win because they had to. They played their tails off. They were exhausted after the game. They gave everything they had, and you can see in the way this game tilted in the second half. You know, Tulsa leads in shots on target, possessions, interceptions, fouls conceded, yellow cards. Like, it's across the board except for the category it matters most in.
The scoreboard.
Yes. That's the one, yes.
Way next 5, let's take a peek at the remaining schedule, and it doesn't get any easier for FC Tulsa. You see that one right there at the top of the board.
Yeah, this was the one that you absolutely needed 3 points from. You need 3 points the rest of the way where they are in the table. But, man, whew, you got Lou City coming to town. Then you go to Hartford, which is no walk in the park. Go to Detroit, go to Indy, and then Monterey Bay. The Detroit one's one to watch. It's the team they're chasing. It's going to be interesting to see where the table sits at that point.
As FC Tulsa continues to chase. And for Atlanta United 2, probably a reason that Noah Cobb was a second half sub is what's going on in the midweek as Memphis 901 comes to town.
And Memphis 901 comes to town with a lot of familiar faces if you followed this team over the year. Then you go to Miami FC. Indy 11 comes to town for the last home game of the season. Then you wrap it up by going to Los Dos and then going out to Phoenix for good measure. But at least you're in Phoenix in the not dead heat of summer.
And Phoenix has had a rough go of it in the Western Conference this year. It was a wild one. Jacko scores not once, but twice. FC Tulsa needed full points, didn't get it. Atlanta United 2. Jackson Conway gets goal 9, gets goal 10. First win since late June to put a big wrench into the postseason plans of FC Tulsa. We'll see you back here in the midweek. For everybody here at Kennesaw and Jarrett Smith, I'm just John. Play it safe, everybody. Enjoy your weekend.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League Championship cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the expressed written consent of the United Soccer League Championship.